Hello! Today we're going to be talking about Chapter 6 in our textbook, which is on media relations. If we're going to talk about mass media, we need to first start with sports information. And the sports information department is vital to the overall athletics department because it deals with the mass media, and the mass media possesses the greatest reach to the general public. So if you want to reach the public in intercollegiate athletics, you need to be able to utilize the mass media, and that's where sports information comes in. And through this reach, the media outlets shape opinions about your athletics department by affecting what people see, right? So on TV or in newspapers, what they hear, say on the radio or online, and what they read. So therefore, the role of the sports information department is to help shape the information distributed by mass media. And it does so by proactively disseminating the information. And it requires that sports information departments maintain statistics and that they create media releases, game notes, programs, and other documents. The sports information department also holds press conferences. They facilitate media training for athletes and coaches, and they serve to educate members of the athletic department about how media outlets function and what sells to the media. Another critical function of the sports information department is to oversee the athletics department's website so that fans and other stakeholders can access information about their favorite teams at any time. Proper control of the website also fosters greater coverage of women's athletics and Olympic sport programs, such as wrestling and gymnastics, that the traditional media outlets do not tend to cover. The Sports Information Office also helps other branches of the athletic department develop their online reach. For example, the website can be used to publicize upcoming promotions for the marketing department. It can educate fans about NCAA rules for the compliance office. The website can provide directions and behavior policies for events, for facilities and event management. It can sell tickets for the ticket office and help procure donations for the development office. I think we're all intuitively aware of the fact that websites are important for intercollegiate athletics, but it's also valuable to understand why. And one of the things that's valuable is the fact that they provide interactive options where fans can engage with the athletic programs. For example, they can vote for their favorite teams, their favorite athletes, they can register to win contests. Sports information staffers can be heavily involved in creating both the appearance and the content of material designed for fans' consumption. Some schools develop their websites in-house, while others use outside firms such as Presto Sports, New Lion, CBS Technologies, and Sidearm Sports, just to name a few. And schools use these firms because they have this online expertise and familiarity. They know the newer features, the things that fans are looking for. So, for example, Regis uses Presto Sports for its athletic website. And, while we've gotten used to the ability to be able to view websites on our mobile devices, this was actually new technology only a few years ago. And I think it's fair to say that it's always changing. It's so rapid in terms of the change that's occurring. And so for some perspective, 15 years ago, when I was an assistant athletic director at Miss Porter School back in the early 2000s, I actually had to create all web content from schedules to scores to game summaries using HTML code. It took forever. It was a ton of time. It was a ton of effort. But nowadays, these new website features enable sports information directors to upload video highlights and game clips right from their mobile devices. It's simply remarkable how much things have changed in 10 to 15 years. And sports information directors really need to stay on the cutting edge of these changes. When sports information departments create fan polls or upload videos, they're hoping to achieve and develop the stickiness of the website, which means keeping visitors on the site for extended periods of time. For example, Mississippi State Sports Information Office wanted to develop the stickiness of their website and help their website stand out from competitors. In this case, competing sites might include ESPN or Fox Sports. Mississippi State Sports Information Department enhanced its stickiness by including live stats, posting sound bites, and video clips that competing sites might not include. The school also created a catchy website domain, www.hailstate.com, to appeal to Bulldogs fans through the rallying cry used at sporting events. The shortness and the simplicity of the domain's address make it easier for visitors to remember it. All of these efforts are intended to maximize web traffic. This is measured 3 ways: by unique visitors to the website, hits, and page views. Unique visitors are people who visit a website. Regardless of how many times they visit, each visit only counts once. The unique visitors metric gives you a sense of the size of your audience. Another measurement tool for web traffic is the hit, which is defined as a single request from a browser to a server. A page view is triggered when any page is loaded by any visitor to your site. For example, if you click a link and the page loads, you have triggered a page view. If you click the link 20 more times today, it will count as 20 page views. Page views are important for publishers because each page view tallies an ad impression for each ad on the page, which can help with sponsors who purchase ad space on your site. The one core principle of sports information is to facilitate information transfer to the media. The department also needs to identify guiding principles and behaviors to ensure consistent, fair, and ethical communication with all constituents. To this end, it is essential to implement a media policy for the following reasons. 1. The media policy designates who will serve as the calm and credible spokesperson to the media in times of crisis. 2. It helps the athletic department staff be aware that members of the media should be directed to sports information to obtain quotes, comments, and set up interviews. 3. It establishes the stringent philosophy to the media that student athletes are students first and are not to be disrupted during classes or while studying. The media policy should also specify when and how to contact head coaches. In addition, the policy should advise the media against conducting ambush type of interviews, such as questioning coaches or student athletes during community service appearances. The media policy should also specify cool-down periods after practices and especially after competitions to enable coaches to calm down, control their emotions, and get their thoughts together. A coach or a student athlete caught up in the post-game excitement might speak without thinking rationally, thus making it harder to control the message to the media. Speaking of controlling messages, media training helps coaches and student athletes to anticipate questions and best formulate in advance the messages they would like to get across. Media training also informs coaches and student athletes about how their behavior and reactions on the playing field or court may be subjected to interpretation by the media, even if such interpretations are inaccurate. Media training helps educate those in the athletic department not only about what can go wrong, but also how it might be fixed. Certain members of the media have a particular story angle in mind before they even start talking with a coach or a student athlete. But proper training can help interviewees redirect the conversation or eliminate the angle completely if it portrays the team or athletics department in a negative light. I think it's helpful to have examples of possible questions and good answers in case you're dealing with press conferences, if you're dealing with post-game interviews, even if it's something like what we have here at Regis where student athletes get interviewed for the website sometimes or for NECC Player of the Week. So a possible question that might be asked would be, did your teammates' poor shooting cause you great frustration tonight? And so if you read between the lines, they're trying to get the athlete to kind of call out their teammates, right? Because that would be a great story. But a savvy answer would be that it's a team game and collectively we did not play well enough to win the game. Another possible question would be, did the cautious play calling from your coach hinder your ability to win the championship? And a smart answer would be to not throw your coach under the bus, but to say something like, our coaches put us in a position to be here tonight, but the other team just played better. Okay, so those are some possible examples. Media training also helps remind people being interviewed that they do not have a crystal ball that enables them to see into the future. The media are capable of asking the same question many different ways. Therefore, media training prepares responders to answer consistently, even in times of crisis. Although such responses have been called cliches, responders have to be comfortable acknowledging that they, quote, lack information, or they're looking into the matter, or they can't answer a question due to reasons such as laws about privacy or personnel matters, unquote. Media training also helps athletic administrators effectively share sympathy if somebody's injured at a sporting event, without expanding on their answer to the point that their response is used against them in a court of law. Media training should also emphasize the fact that, quote unquote, off-the-record answers simply do not exist. By definition, a crisis is disruptive. It may also be unexpected, and it's frequently characterized by allegations that are not completely unfounded or proven, which can lead to erroneous assumptions. Crises can happen due to injury, improper recruiting, arrests, fights, academic violations, and other reputation-damaging issues. Crises can occur on campus, at off-campus sites, or even overseas during international trips. Crises can involve any number of stakeholders: fans, donors, alums, parents, coaches, student-athletes, and even mascots. Crises can take place in season, out of season, during the academic year, and throughout the summer. And as a result, sports information departments are never immune to the concerns of crisis management. All right, so when a crisis occurs, administrators should adhere to the following guidelines. Speak early and often, do not speculate, stick to the facts, be open, be concerned, definitely don't be defensive. Make your own point and repeat it over and over if necessary. Establish yourself as the most authoritative source on this subject. Stay calm, be truthful, and cooperative. And finally, for the love of God, never lie, since the truth always comes out eventually. The evolution of online technology has forced SIDs to assume a new role as social media police. Because the media can now pull information from a student-athlete's Facebook page or a coach's Twitter account, the athletic department's overall messaging and image has become more difficult to monitor. Continuous education should advise all members of the department about how the media can use details from any social media account at any time. Because of the rapid changes in technology and social media options out there, many athletic departments lack the applicable policies, oversight procedures, and management plans in the event of a social media crisis. Sports information staff must strongly emphasize to coaches and student-athletes that audio-visual recording functions of smartphones means that their actions, good or bad, can be recorded by anyone, and that the media can also use the results in the reporting. Video footage, for example, can lead to a coach's or a student-athlete's having unflattering pictures or worse posted online, like what happened when former USC coach, football coach, Steve Sarkisian, was recorded at a pep rally, and it was apparent that he was drunk and he was slurring his words at the time. He ended up getting fired 6 weeks later. The do's and don'ts of social media may seem to be obvious, but somehow people are still managing to get themselves in trouble. To avoid making news in a negative way, coaches and student-athletes need to tweet and to post with caution. Specifically, they should not comment on issues pertaining to politics, to religion, and the military, since these are hot-button issues that are likely to offend somebody somewhere. Departments should be careful to monitor and properly balance their tweets and posts. Researchers have found that athletic departments have produced more tweets that publicize men's programs than women's programs. This concern needs to be addressed, given Title IX's application to athletics, as well as the potential for missed opportunities to promote women's sports or Olympic sports programs. In addition, tweets or posts from student-athletes should not endorse things such as movies, restaurants, or other products for fear of violating their amateur status. Some coaches have actually banned their players from using social media, although critics argue that this is a violation of free speech. Who knew that social media could be so controversial?